But there's this myth that the iPhone leapt fully conceived out of Steve Jobs' head, right? And it was just the right thing. And that ignores about 20 years, maybe a little more, 25 years of sequential startups. We had General Magic, and we had the Newton, and we had the GridPad, and we had the Trio, and we had the, decades of folks building mobile devices, all of which failed because the tech wasn't ready and the internet wasn't here. All the folks from General Magic, or many of them, went on to work on things at Apple that later became the iPhone. But some of us have been doing product-led growth since the 80s. And I know it's the buzzword of the week, right? And a lot of people are making a lot of leads or money or entertainment by, writing blog posts and books that claim that it's a new thing, but not so much. I worked on some AI stuff in the 70s, by the way. And yes, there was AI in the 70s, and mostly it didn't work. And I worked on some AI in the 80s and the 90s and the aughts. And with apologies to Elon, because he's worth a lot more than I am. That seems the kind of advice that's hard to use in almost every situation. I'm an agilist, I believe. Every development team I've worked with over the last 20 years that was any good is doing some flavor of agile, but it doesn't answer the strategy question. And I see a lot of what I would call vision that's labeled as strategy. If you can't disagree with it, it's not a strategy. In Oregon, actually, dispensaries are legal, so, we can have much strategy or vision as we want. No one's ever had a development team big enough to build everything we want. And so for me, the essence of strategy is forcing ourselves to make hard choices. This idea that we're going to convince sales and marketing that because we're agile or anything else, they don't get what they need to close the big deal this quarter, right, is politically naive. First prize in sales is a Cadillac, now it's a Tesla, right? Second prize is a set of steak knives, and third prize, you're fired. I think strategies that come out of standard decks and are shared across a lot of companies are pretty much by definition not that useful. I've had a chance to work with 5 really, really big software and software enabled companies who got the product management course and instruction and advice from that really big company, which, by the way, has no product managers and couldn't find product management if you gave them all the consonants in the correct order, right? So you go back and you see what Henry Ford really said. So he's famous for saying, they can have my car in any color they want as long as it's black. As best we can tell, he never said that. But I think it plays into the whole Steve Jobs was brilliant. I think I'm as brilliant as Steve Jobs, so I don't have to talk to customers, which every part of that is a fallacy or a wrong thought, right? I met Steve briefly. My wife worked for him for a while when she was at Apple. He was way off the charts brilliant. On the other hand, most of the technology that went into the early Apple products was borrowed from Xerox PARC and a bunch of other places. So a great, leader and thinker, but did he invent that stuff? No, he didn't.